You guys are aware of the protests that are happening in China because of their lockdowns. And if you watch mainstream media, you may also know that these protesters are being called heroes. But were you aware that their government is now starting to listen to the people? I'm sure almost none of you guys know this. And it's something that is likely to be hidden. Yeah, they're trying to hide this. Do you think that there's news or updates that are hidden from our view on purpose? Just comment a quick yes or no down below. The housing market and even renters are gearing up to be torn down. Now, this is not the best way to put it, but if you wanted to invest your money today, housing might not need to be on the list. Why? There's a bunch of reasons that I'm going to go into later. Do you have any plans in the future to invest in housing? For your daily dose of the truth when it comes to the US economy, the stock market, the housing market, passive income, Social Security, SNAP and EBT benefits, and everything that's going on in Washington, D.C. that affects our lives, our families, and our bank accounts, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys dropping a like for the video. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is in the description down below. Now, I want to give you guys a side-by-side, kind of like, how boxers are compared whenever we see a fight. With the protests in China, CNN has chosen to use this headline. At the heart of China's protests against Zero C19, young people cry for freedom. Sounds inspiring, right? Kind of like a call to removing their government because the younger generation they're now tired of the nonsense. Now, let's check what they posted earlier this year when protests were also happening in Europe. The headline reads, Europe's loud, rule-breaking, unvaccinated minority are falling out of society, end quote. Oh, there's a huge difference here. So if it's protests in China, the youth just want freedom. But if it's in Europe, then the youth are unruly. Does that make sense to you guys? And now, all of a sudden, we're seeing an easing of the lockdowns in China because their government is starting to listen to the people. Now, don't get me wrong, the lockdowns are insane to begin with, but why aren't we seeing this all over mainstream media? Now, I'm pretty sure that they have plenty of opportunities to run a story, so question is, why aren't they sharing this information with the masses? Is it because it doesn't line up with the narrative that they want? They're also ramping up vaccinations for the elderly. This is a China state-affiliated channel. Look at this. Quote, it says, the Chinese officials on Tuesday once again called on the elderly to get vaccinated, reiterating the high risk of developing severe disease as the joint prevention and control mechanism of the state council issued new guidance for senior citizen vaccination, end quote. The protests are working and it's driving their stock market back up. The anomaly when it comes to reporting in Western media was raised by Michael Tracy. Now, here's what he said on his Twitter account. Quote, there is no dispute that China's C19 policies are unusually stringent, but I seem to recall Australia had pretty stringent C19 policies at one point, and anybody who protested was instantly labeled a far-right menace rather than the brave descendants standing up for freedom. Now, I saw this and I was kind of like, what is this journalist even saying? Here's what happened in Australia.
It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. You feel like you're in prison. You feel like you've done something wrong. It's inhumane what they're doing. Like you are so small. They just overpower you and you're literally nothing. It's like you do what we say or you're in trouble, we'll lock you up for longer. Yeah, they were even threatening me that if I was to do this again, we will extend your time in here.
That was Haley Hogden recalling her experience in an Australian C19 intermittent camp. Why wasn't this news picked up? Is it because Australia is allowed to apply lockdowns, but China isn't? So here's something else that I want you guys to watch, and these two clips are more than a year apart. So the first clip is from 2 years ago, and it's of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
I was chatting with a group of students the other day, and a young woman asked me about COVID internment camps. And I had to explain that as we consume increasing amounts and various sources of information online and around us, we need to continue to be attentive to source. We need to continue to be attentive to comparing various reports and looking for trusted sources.
Oh, so the camps aren't true, but you know what was a lie? What he said. Watch this video from about a year ago.
It was an extremely difficult and, onerous and traumatic process for myself and our two daughters. My husband hasn't traveled back with us as yet. TBD if he decides to follow. But I mean, it's grueling. It's isolated. You don't have fresh air. You can't exercise. You can't leave. The food is atrocious and it's not nutritious. And there's just it's absolutely mind-boggling that you could hold healthy, law-abiding, fully vaccinated citizens in these kinds of conditions.
Wait, was that an internment camp for C-19? Yes, it was. What do you guys make of this? Is this all just a coincidence? Or are we being bombarded with propaganda and we're now starting to realize it? Investors, on the other hand, are now starting to realize where not to put their money today, and that is in the housing market. Now, I'm always reading every single day, and this one just popped up on the Hedge. Housing demand vaporized after interest rates for mortgages hit 7%. Vaporized is a strong term, and it's got Star Trek written all over it. So puns aside, the reality of the housing market is that investors are going to be rushing to the exits. The same people who rushed to buy houses may be the same people who are going to be panicking selling very soon. Real estate investors, those in Airbnb, house flipping, it's going to be really bad. Sellers may be forced to drop prices. Home prices are plunging, and yes, house prices continue to remain high. But remember that prices can still stay sky high, but no one's going to be getting a jetpack to reach those clouds soon. Sellers are going to have to adjust to these mortgage rates that are basically going to be disastrous for them. The seller's market is gone. Buyers are going to win. This is not the time to be swiping our credit cards on wants. Focus on necessities, find a side hustle, make money online, maybe start a small business. There are going to be amazing deals come 2023. Of course, for those who are smart, diligent, and patient, especially if you're able to manage your cash flow now. Real estate can be a tremendous form of passive income for the savvy. Now, in a few years' time, we may be the ones who will actually have rental properties that have passive income. It's not impossible, guys, but it will take a certain level of dedication and a little bit of luck. Now, speaking of luck, I've always wondered how the markets react so quickly to Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. Why are the markets rallying because of Jerome Powell's words? The markets are holding on to any kind of hope. But sure, the stock market surged, but did it make the food that we bought any cheaper? Did it help pay for your car, housing, rent? Not at all. It did nothing for you, but it helped the bigger people. It helped the rich for sure. And there's going to at least be one person saying that, Ron, you're so negative. Why do you continue to think that crashes are coming? Let me ask you guys, did the market react to the real economy? Or does it feel manipulated because, one person's words just spikes the market? Think about that one for a second. And I want to show you guys just how important it is to make money today. Wise man once said, if you don't learn how to make money when you sleep, you will work until you die. Are you guys aware that the personal savings rate in our country is now 3.1% today? Not many of us have emergency funds, and if we did have some savings set aside, inflation may have already eroded and eaten into them. As someone who's dealing with the pain of inflation and is trying to find all opportunities I can, it is best to focus on your priorities and your needs. Financial freedom, it's not impossible, but it is a huge mountain to climb. What are your thoughts on today's video? Feel free to share your thoughts and comments in this comment section down below. And while you guys are down there, make sure to smash the thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel and you want to keep updated with everything that matters to you regarding our economy and your bank account, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because if you want the truth, y'all know where to get it. Appreciate you guys watching. You guys are all awesome. This is Ron. I wish you guys great health and better days to come, and I'll see you on the next one.